stay right in it's kind of there's no go back out. Glad to be here.
Yeah, man, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for filling in. You know, Tracy kind of abandoned us, but we're excited to be here. This is the 3rd episode. You know, we got sent inside last time we were here, and you know, first week we've got the same view. It looks like a little more boats, but excited to be here with Coach. Talk a little football. You know, the plan is to talk a little bit about, you know, homecoming week, if we can remember that, and then last week we had Satsuma, and then of course Friday night we got Robertsdale. So we're gonna go back 2 weeks and talk a little football, and then kind of give a preview of this week's Friday night game. But you know, before we do that, a big shout out to our volleyball team. They had a big win tonight, a big area win against Satsuma. So there's I think there's one more. They got to play St. Michael's coming up, and if they win that, then we host an area tournament. So kind of excited for Coach Atkins and the volleyball team. And you know, we got a minute here, but Coach, let's talk about the middle school Makos real quick. Before we got on air, you were telling me they're 4-0.
Yeah, absolutely. Played our 4th game last week. Had 2 games last week at home, and we're 4-0, and got another game this week at home against Bayside. So really need a lot of people to come out and watch these guys. They've only got 3 more games, I think, after this week. Really proud of what they're doing. Just need to keep it going.
Yeah, I got a chance the other night to watch them. They're a gritty group. Quarterback's pretty good too.
Yeah,
tough little kid.
There are a few really good players in that group that are going to be really good athletes here. I think we got a large number of kids out of that 40 group that are going to be good football players. The guys work hard, they get after, they care for each other, have a lot of fun playing, and they're a lot of fun to coach.
Yeah, future's bright for the Makos. So, but yeah, that's you know, we're gonna jump in here into homecoming. I know that's coaches. That's a tough week.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much going on. You know, the distractions, but you know, the homecoming game. It was a huge crowd. But yeah, besides all the distractions, I thought they played well.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back to talk about that here in just a minute. Coaches Corner Live. And YoHo Rugby Tacos at live on Sunday 105. All right, welcome back. We're just kind of talking about how beautiful it is out here.
Man, what a great venue.
YoHo Rugby Tacos at the Athletes Coaches Corner. And nice 2 weeks for the big week. Phenomenally. It's out here, Mel. It's great.
Yeah, playing better for sure.
Region wins. That's what we needed. But you know, before we went to break, Coach, we were talking. You know, homecoming can be such a distraction. You know, but offensively, we put up some points.
We have. We played better the last couple of weeks, and you're right. Homecoming is. You know, it's kind of like picture day for a head football coach. Those are 2 of the worst days you can be a part of. But our kids did a really good job of handling the week. You know, we do our dance, I guess, the week before. So that gets that distraction out of the way early. And I thought our kids were focused that week and had a good week of practice. And, you know, I thought we played well, you know, especially offensively now. Defensively, they had 1 or 2 kids that we had a very hard time containing. And, I thought our coaches did a good job at halftime getting our guys refocused. And, you know, in the second half, I think they scored 1 time. But, you know, we were able to score 42 points. And I think we took a knee going in late. Blake Bruno had a huge night. I think he had 155 yards on 14 carries, 8 tackles, interception, 5 touchdowns, and onside kick recovery. You know, outside of bringing the water on and off the field, I think he did about everything that night. So he had a big night for us.
Yeah, he's such a good player. But, you know, offensively, you know, early on, you know, we've seen a lot of the jumbo, and now you're kind of seeing a little more it's spread out. What's behind that? What's brought on the change a little bit?
Well, you know, we went into Bayside, and it was going to be. We thought it was going to be a super wet night, raining, and you know, just really wanted to kind of control that night. But, you know, that night was an anomaly. We had something that went on every possession. We had something, a mishap of some sort. You know, we only produced 5 points. But, you know, come back to the last 2 weeks, doing just a much better job of blocking, staying out of our own way with regards to pre-snap penalties and holding penalties. And, things like that. And, even last week when we had a few of those, we were able to overcome those. And that's the difference, just staying on the field, having those long drives. I think we had a 14-play drive last Friday night, and, we're finding a way to get the ball in the end zone.
We got some kids healthy, we've had some kids come back. That's helped a little bit. I know we had lost, a few players the week before, but, that's, between W.S. Neal, putting up 42, and then this past Friday, you're putting up 52.
Yeah.
Those are good numbers.
No, they are. And it's even last week, and going back to W.S. Neal, if we can just stay out of our own way, we feel like we can score it every time we touch it. And that's just got to become the mentality of our guys that, we're going to have to execute perfectly and no pre-snap penalties, and we will find a way to put the ball in the end zone. But, kids are doing a good job. We had a really good practice today, too. So we're getting better. And, I said at the beginning of the year, every time this team goes out, if our mindset's in the right place, we're going to improve, just because there was so much room to improve in. And we've still got a long way to go. And, I feel like we can get there.
Yeah. Number 14, I've noticed you got another back there. That's,
Getting Aiden back is huge. He's been playing some JV ball for us and doing a lot for us. And we're just excited to be able to get him in the in the lineup. And he ran the ball very hard, had good vision. He's a kid that wants the ball in his hands, and that makes all the difference in the world.
Right.
When you're trying to move the football. But that it also makes our defense better, because now we're not relying on Braden Hood as much. We're not relying on Blake Brunick as much, Austin Beck as much. Those guys hopefully can breathe a little bit more, rest a little bit more, stay focused on what they've got to do to get us off the field on the other side.
Yeah, and that's 4A football depth-wise, it's
it
both of us coming from 6A, 7A programs where hardly any guys played both ways.
Correct.
But sometimes in 4A you've got to have that, and you worry about them getting gassed in that
That's
third,
right.
fourth quarter, but. I've noticed I think their conditioning has, I was out at practice the other day and you guys were running some 100-yard, and they were getting it.
Yeah, we just try to get them to sprint a few times a week to hit their peak maximum speed. We feel like if we can do that 8 to 12 times a week, that's going to condition them along with how we practice. They've done a good job responding to that. The more guys we can play, and you said it just a second ago, you're almost robbing Peter to pay Paul at this level. So if somebody goes out, you're somewhere else on the field's going to suffer. But we can just keep developing guys. We just need more guys to come on, freshmen, sophomores, get them ready. And there's a few of those kids out there right now whose names we've not called that we're going to be seeing over the next couple of weeks that are getting ready to play on Friday night.
Right. Speaking of the gassers the other day, DK's got to pick it up a little bit.
Yeah. If his group, I think the day you were out there, we had a little wager going on a competition there, and one side lost, and DK went ahead and ran with his group. So kudos to him.
Yeah, I don't think I'd made it to the 20, but
I stayed out of that.
But let's talk a little about Friday night Satsuma. Once again a region game. And you guys came out. That first half was as offensively, we put up some points.
Yeah, and defensively, we were really good in the first half. I thought kind of the play of the game, we had an opportunity to get an interception in the first half, and we dropped it, and 2 plays later, we come back and give up a ball. And to me, that kind of started the trend going into the second half. Just balls getting thrown over the top of it. Offensively, moved the ball, scored it, blocked, did a really good job. Threw it when we had to throw it and caught it. Pretty balanced. But second half, disappointing in that. Really challenged our guys. I thought our kids played hard. I don't think it was a focus or an effort thing, but there's definitely a lack of execution defensively in the second half that led to, that game going on a lot longer than it needed to. And, talking to our kids Monday at practice, great programs find a way to finish that game in the third quarter. And then you're playing freshmen and 10th graders on Friday nights. Those guys are getting reps under the lights. And they turn around on Monday and play again. And that's how you double their seasons up, and that's how you build a great program. So, I just laid it out to our guys. If we're in those opportunities again and we're older players, we've got an obligation to go finish that game and get those guys reps so that the program grows.
Right.
And it's just got to become that mentality that everything we do matters and everybody's growing from us being successful.
All right, guys, we'll be back here with more on Make This One. You guys want something next, everything like that. All right, live from YoHo Ramen Tacos and Darren. I figured out the buttons over here, so now we have a plug.
Hey, all right.
We can introduce Shane Alexander and Wade Waldrop. We got a crowd out here cheering.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, we got a good crowd tonight. I see Mr. Shaw over there in the corner, and of course we got Mr. Wilkes. He's here every week. But yeah, it's a good crowd. But yeah, we're excited to be here. But going back, Coach, we were talking Satsuma, and starting to see some players playing well. It's the quarterback position, JW. I thought he played really well Friday night.
He did. He has taken care of the football in every game, the last 3 or 4 weeks. And, even W.S. Neal and last week had some critical throwing downs where we had to execute the passing game. And he did a great job of staying in the pocket, delivering the ball, and moving the chains. And then, the hardest part about that is you said it earlier, we're moving in and out of, a conventional offense into a short yardage offense. And we kind of stayed in that for, a longer drive the other night, kind of trying to slow the pace of the game down. Well, we had a penalty, and JW came in after being off the field for 6 or 7 minutes, delivered a strike,
right,
moved the chains, and we were able to get right back into the short yardage. So, that takes a lot to be able to move in and out of that, stay in rhythm. And, I've just been proud of him the last couple of weeks. Still a long way to go, a lot of room for improvement right there, but definitely trending in the right direction.
Yeah. And also, your kicking game, you got a kicker.
We do.
It's,
and he's doing great.
Sanders semi-close. I watch him every morning when I come to your practice. He's got a leg on him, and that's a good weapon to have. You'd know more about that than I would, but talk a little bit about Sanders.
Well, he works very hard. He's very dedicated to his craft, and his, just from watching film from a year ago to now to see how far he's come and how much he's improved. He's worked as hard as any kid in our program to get good at what he's doing. And what he has provided for this team. We go back to Bayside, we scored 5 points. They were all because of special teams. We flipped the field all night the other night in the punt game. The kickoff game had them inside the 20 twice. Actually ran a little surprise kickoff. And Sanders was the one that came to me and said, Coach, I think we can do it. Right now would be a good time because they're cheated up. So I said, hey, do it, man, go. And he did it, dropped the ball over. We got the ball inside the 20. Got a 3 and out, got the ball right back, scored right before the half. And, he's just been very in tune. I tell you what he's done a great job of since the first time I got, started working with him and being a part of it, being his coach. He's letting the things that don't go well go and moving on to the next kick, the next opportunity, and he's really making the most of those opportunities, and that is huge for that position.
Yeah, and I was excited. I think in the fourth quarter, even Evan got in there to an extra point. I was good to see.
And that was Sanders. Sanders came to me at halftime. He said, hey, look, if we get an opportunity, are you good? If Evan goes, I was like, absolutely, man. Absolutely, go. But that is the culture. That's one example. We just want that culture to take over, that our guys want our other guys to feel that success and have those opportunities to be successful and be a part. And, proud of him for sure.
Absolutely. Defensively, who's standing out for you defensively?
Well, I think Daniel Hembry, a.k.a. Texas, I think his effort the last 2 weeks has been well above and beyond what I had seen out of him up until 2 weeks ago. He had dealt with an ankle injury earlier in fall camp, so he was kind of overcoming that, but he is moving really well. He is doing his job really well, playing very hard. It's good to see him. Braden Hood is hitting everything that moves on the field right now. Blake's getting better. Matthew Hoover has been as consistent as anybody that we've had. James Key's doing a good job. Dawson Drake, I think, has improved more over the last 2 weeks than anybody on our team. Just watching him do his job, hold his edge, make some plays. And then Matthew Steele has been very consistent. He had one ball against W.S. Neal that was just a kind of a freaky deal where he tipped it up in the air and they made a catch. But outside of that, he's been pretty solid the whole year. So we've got some guys. We need a couple more to come on, so we get 11 on the same page, pulling in the same direction. And I think we're ready to make a good little push on the second half of the season.
Yeah, Friday night I love to watch Matthew Steele. He wants that competition.
He loves it.
He loves that, and he wants to guard the best receiver, and
he does.
I love to see that. Speaking of Dawson Drake, he's not a very big guy.
Nope.
But he had a really good hit the other night.
He did. He had a great one. And for him to, quote, pull the trigger and do that, that's big. Because, we've just not seen a lot of that. He did a really good job the other night of just containing. The week before, we got out leveraged a few times right there. And he did a really good job Friday night of keeping the ball inside, which really kept the run game in check and kind of forced them into being one-dimensional, which they became very one-dimensional the other night. We gave up a lot of yards, but, we won the football game.
Yeah,
that's what's important.
Yeah, we're 2-0 in the region, like we stated earlier. And, we get a week off with out of region play before we get back into region. And, I'm sure we're going to talk about that when we come back. But, we're jumping up to 7A this Friday night, Coach.
Yeah, appreciate the schedule makers on this one.
So
it's always a fun jump, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a good jump.
Yeah, big jump.
All right, we'll be back to talk about that here a little bit more. Coach's Corner live at YoHo Tacos at the Fort, brought to you by Brian Construction Beat with Dental and Ely. Coach's Corner back in minutes on Sunday 105. All right, we are live back again at the YoHo Tacos at the Fort. Coach's Corner we're talking about Mako's football, and we were just talking about the big 7A matchup on Friday.
We do. Going up in class for the third time this season. So, we played up twice, played 2 5As, Alberta and Citronelle, and now, in week 5, a non-region game, home game versus Robertsdale, Class 7A, Region 1, and, it's going to be a tall test for us. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, and 7A, we were talking about the differences. I was talking to Justin, our band director. They've got 17 tubas, Coach, in their band.
You know what our old
Coach Woods, that was
our old coach used to say. That's not a good thing if they've got more tubas than you do.
We'd always count the tubas.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
17 tubas. But talk a little bit about Robertsdale. They run an offense that you don't see very often.
Correct.
And it's defensively it can be hard to deal with. So talk a little bit about that, Coach.
Yeah, they're in the same situation as us. They've got a new coach, Chris Bell, who's coming to them from Scottsboro, who had previously been at Oak Mountain for about 10 years. I've known Chris for probably 12, 15 years, and he does a great job running the triple option. And they are running the offense that they need to run to give them a chance to be successful at their level. They're big up front. It's a split back veer look, so they're playing with 2 backs. The quarterback can run, not going to throw it a lot, and we are going to have to we're going to have to make sure we're dialed in to make the business decisions, the right business decisions Friday night on tackling that dive all night long. It's going to be a challenge. Big offensive line. They play with really low pad level. They've played very tough teams the last couple of weeks. And the speed that they've had to play at the last few weeks versus Fairhope, Mary Montgomery, Foley. That's a different speed than what we've played at. So it's very important that we come out and we play fast early and that our mentality's right going into this game.
Yeah, and you can just watch the college game, and when these military academies play, they give people fits running that offense. They do what they do because they know they're at every position on the field. They're not as talented as the other teams they play, but that the way they just hammer you over and over and over again and make you be disciplined and make you play assignment football. A lot of colleges can't do that for 85 snaps a game, and it's the same in high school. Can we successfully take the dive, the quarterback, and the pitch all night long, over and over and over again when we're tired? When some of our guys are playing both ways, those are things that I talked to our kids today about. We've got to know the answer to that before we get on the field Friday night. That decision's got to be made that we're going to do our job all night long before we get there. We wait till kickoff to decide it's going to be too late. Right. Once again, it's a home game. We're expecting a big crowd. Hopefully, I'm not sure what the weather's going to be like, but I'm excited for it. You were talking earlier about their band. I heard they had like 240 band members. So
let's get them, bring them all in.
I'm sure there's going to be cars parked all the way down William Silvers to Canal, but that's what we want. This is another big crowd. This will be our third home game, and we've had some really good crowds.
The atmosphere's been amazing at home. The two games we've had. And homecoming was, you said it earlier, seeing all the tents, all the tailgates going on. It had a small college atmosphere to it, a vibe, and it's good. I think this Friday night we're bringing more people, so hopefully we have a bigger crowd, a bigger environment. I know our people are going to show up. Our students have been amazing on the road and at home, with regards to supporting our guys and supporting our team, and our cheerleaders are doing a great job. Our band, we just got to keep it up. That's how you build a program. Everybody shows up on Friday night.
Absolutely.
Everybody does their job. Everybody works hard, goes all in on Friday night, and that's what makes it great.
We brought a good crowd to Satsuma.
We did. No, it was a great atmosphere. Just seeing all those students there. As the head coach, it fires me up to see our student body there.
Yeah, we've got a great student section. Matter of fact, they came to me today and asked if they could tailgate before the game, and I was like, absolutely.
Yeah, bring it on.
So they're going to be out there about 4:30 getting ready, and we're excited for it. But 7 o'clock Friday night against Robertsdale, and we'll see how we do. I like our chances.